Okay, so I'm going to do some videos because we didn't spend time revising this and we were talking about patriarchy. I'm going to do the last three papers really quickly. I'm going to do this first paper. It's on page 58. It's the Alice paper. Alice is a university student, has volunteered to help on an archaeological dig looking for any evidence of the past. She's in the Pyrenees Mountains in France. I'm just going to mess around with the lighting here a little bit. Okay, so we know the timings of the exam, which is what we should just review first. Just on the first page, this is what we've agreed. You're going to spend 4 minutes on question 1. You're going to spend 12 minutes on question 2, which is the language analysis question. Then the big question that takes 19 minutes is question 3. And what we do is we spend 3 minutes carving up the source, 4 minutes reading the source. We start by reading the source after the question 2. And then we write kind of 2 paragraphs, hopefully, on something like a shift, which we anticipate from question 4. Question 3, as we've talked about, is this big trap. If you get 4 out of 8 for that one, I'm more than happy, because really the whole exam rests on these final 2 questions, one of which is question 4. It takes 25 minutes, and we're figuring out what we're meant to evaluate. We're getting key evidence, and then we're writing. And then, of course, question 5 is the story, which we've talked a lot about ways of preparing for that. So let me just look at this quickly. I'm on page 58. I'm not going to do question 1, but we just know. List 4 things about Alice and her surroundings from this part of the source. So we spend 4 minutes on this. 4 simple sentences. Question 2, it's a little bit difficult to read here, but what is being asked of you is, how does the writer use language to describe the mountain area? So it's this little part. So why don't we take a look at it together? Again, I want to give you some help on this the day before the exam. It's her first time in the Pyrenees, although she feels very much at home. She's been told that in the winter, the jagged peaks of the mountains are covered with snow. In the spring, delicate flowers of pink and mauve and white peep out from their hiding places in the great expanses of rock. In early summer, the pastures are green and speckled with yellow buttercups. That's nice, isn't it? I'm not a big nature fan, but that's nice. But now, the sun has flattened the land into submission. That's the key one. It's very hot. It's brutally hot, as a matter of fact. I think I have enough, but let's see. Turning the greens to brown. It's a beautiful place, she thinks, yet somehow an inhospitable one. It's a place of secrets, one that has seen too much and concealed too much to be at peace with itself. I mean, really, the mountain area is described as having jagged peaks, delicate flowers, green and speckled with yellow buttercup, and flattened into submission. Those are 4 perfectly relevant quotations that you could then take into an analysis. What Ms. Hussein's provided you here with is a very close set of questions to get you to think about jagged and what it means to analyze jagged. Of course, jagged, if we were just squeezing the lemon, could be something like sharp, like teeth, weapon is what she says. Violent makes me think of something that's going to cut you, rip you apart. That word is really what we're doing, what we're analyzing. Of course, that's an image. It's potentially something that symbolizes something. Similarly, the metaphor of flattening the land into submission, that's something else that you could do to analyze and get a lot out of. So again, in the 12 minutes you have to write this, you have to very quickly read through, get 4 quotations, and just analyze that and explain it and talk about device and effect as much as you can. Once you get the quotations, it should be relatively easy. Question 3 is always the same. How's the source structured to interest us? And to do that, we cheat by finding out about the range in question 4, line 21 to the end. So let me go back to the source. So what I've done is I have labeled question 1. That's question 2. And 21, this is question 3. And we kind of predict this will be the pivotal shift. And everything below will be question 4. So let me just see. I'm just going to read around here and think what's happening. So she's on a dig, and she's not having a good time. It's really boring. And she hasn't really found anything. They've come across a few fragments of pots and bowls and a couple of late 12th and 13th century arrowheads, but no evidence of the Stone Age. So she's kind of not in an awesome place. And then she's tempted to go down and join her friends and colleagues. Her calves are already aching from squatting. The muscles in her shoulders are tense, but she knows that she stops now, she'll lose her momentum. Still nothing that awesome. Hopefully, her luck's about to change. Yeah, I bet it is. Earlier, she'd noticed something glinting behind a large boulder. Okay, that's the pivotal shift. That's the object. That's the main thing. And this main thing is what the rest of the passage is going to be about. Initially, she's having a horrible time. It's not a very nice place. She finds something, and right now, I know the source, but you don't. You could predict, is it going to be a valuable thing? Is it going to be a negative thing? Do we even find out what the thing is? This is why the source is structured this way, this kind of mystery. This object that's going to change everything completely. So if I go back to my question 3, and I'm thinking about, it would be something like this. It opens, and then it shifts to the object. It's quite negative and then mysterious. That object, you'll find out, is mysterious, but we don't know why. So why does the author do that? To create tension, to create curiosity, to create worry for the character. These are all the structural things a writer tries to do when you're reading a passage. Okay? So this one is the trap question. I've given you a lot of help because I know the passage. You're going to have to read it. You need to read it quickly, which is frustrating if you don't understand what's going on. If you predict where the pivotal shift is, you can already focus in on what to do, and maybe you could just write one paragraph on the shift to the ending. But if you want to try and aspire for those higher marks, you might want to try and write about how the opening sets up the shift and then the shift to the ending. But really, this isn't worth that many marks, so you don't want to get trapped here. Okay, question 4. Question 4, we need to figure out what's being asked of us. So let's see. This part of the story where Alice decides to continue digging for the object is really mysterious and suggests her discovery may be life-changing. So we need to discuss why does Alice keep digging? We need to know devices that help us figure this out. And what we need to know is it life-changing or not? Is it life-changing or not? I'm wondering, can I pause? I don't know if I can. I'm going to have to keep going. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the passage. So, here is the change. She's found this object. And this object is glinting beneath a large boulder, propped against the side of the mountain, neat and tidy, almost as if it had been placed there by a giant hand. So these are great quotes to say this thing is going to be special and strange. She can't make out what it is, even how big it is. She's been digging all morning and doesn't think it will be much longer before she can reach it. Okay, so that we have this imagery, we have the simile. She knows she should fetch someone, or at least tell Shelah, I don't know that, deputy the dig. Alice is not a trained archaeologist, just a volunteer spending some of her summer holiday doing something worthwhile. But it's her last full day on site, and she wants to prove herself. If she goes back down to the main camp now and admits she's onto something, everyone will want to be involved. It will no longer be her discovery. I don't think this is really linguistic, but she needs credit. She needs credit. She needs attention and praise. Her life isn't going that great right now, it feels. That's what it feels like to me. In the days and weeks to come, Alice will look back at this moment. She will remember the quality of the light, the dust in her mouth, and wonder at how different things might have been had she made the choice to go and not stay. If she had played by the rules. That metaphor is interesting to me. The flash forward is interesting too, which is we're imagining a future moment. This is a key moment in her life. And what I don't get the sense of is whether it's gone right or wrong. I know she's breaking the rules. Is it going to go her way or not? Let me see if there are any clues in the last part. She drains the last drop of water from the bottle and tosses it in her rucksack. Last drop of water might indicate something negative, but I don't know. For the next hour or so, as the sun climbs higher in the sky and the temperature rises, Alice carries on working. The only sounds are the scrape of metal on rock, the whine of insects, and the occasional buzz of a light aircraft in the distance. Wow, what an amazing ending. Very mysterious and ambiguous ending. Leaves me, I don't know if it's going to be life-changing or not. I do know that she keeps looking back at this moment, but I can't say for certain. That's something you'd have to argue. Let me just pick the key quotes I would have chosen. Her luck's about to change. Glinting. Giant hand. That whole simile been placed there by a giant hand as if it's magical. I don't know if I want to choose. It won't be her describing. In the days and weeks to come. What else? Played by the rules. And then that ending. The imagery. I would say that it seems it's important. It seems like it's really important, but it's left open whether it's life-changing or not. I just can't say for certain. It doesn't really matter, again, because what we're doing is an evaluation, which whether the question is designed to be agreed with, whether we do agree with it or not is neither here nor there. I don't feel like there's a smoking gun to say that it's life-changing. You could argue it is. I could use 3 quotations per paragraph. I have enough imagery, verbs, idiom, so much that I could talk about in terms of devices. What I really need to evaluate and explain is, how does the writer make me feel that it's life-changing or that it might not be life-changing? That's the crux of question 4. If I were practicing, I would practice getting evidence and seeing if I could answer it. Okay, well, an hour of the exam has gone by, and we have to switch takes. And we have this image here, and we look at it. I know it's not very clear in this. It's a mysterious place. Kind of, it looks like to my eye, it looks like a graveyard. And it's something that cannot be explained. Something that cannot be explained is the story. So what we're going to do maybe is use the story itself as a structure, because I can't really think of one. My character will always be my brother Ravi. And what I know is it opens with a mixed setting, going from good to bad. The hook might be something like life will never be the same. I don't even know what it'll be. I jumped over the picture. I'm just using the structure. Okay, so it's flattened into submission. Find something. Is it good or bad? And resolution, leave it open. That's what I would do if I was writing this and I couldn't think of anything else. I'd immediately rip off the structure of the source. I guess the interesting thing would be, what would they find? For me, it might be a wallet with some money, and the dilemma is return or not. And actually then I think I'm going to keep it, and the consequences, the guilt or something. That might be my story. And then I would simply pour my brother into this, pour the brother mask with me underneath it. It would probably be Toronto or East London as the venue. Okay, so that's just a quick whistle-stop tour through this paper. I'm going to do another one now. I'm going to do the next one, and I'll upload this one now. I hope this helps.